A Journey to the Center of the Earth, Chapter 3, Into the Bowels of the Earth. We waited 2 days for the overcast sky to open up and permit the sun to come out and cast the shadow of Scaterus on one of the 3 shafts. If it did not shine during these few days, we would have to put off our journey for an entire year. Finally, it happened. The sky cleared, and exactly at noon, the sun's rays sent the shadow of Scaterus on the central shaft. "Here it is," gasped my uncle joyously. "We have found it. Forward, my friends, forward to the center of the earth." I looked at Hans to see his reaction to my uncle's words, but he only picked up his rope and calmly replied, "Forward." Our real journey had now begun. We advanced to the mouth of the central shaft. It measured about 100 feet in diameter. It stood on a rock at its edge and looked down. The sides of the shaft went almost straight down, like the inside of a well, and ended in nothingness. My hair stood on end, my teeth chattered, and my arms and legs grew weak. I felt like a drunken man. We divided the food, equipment, and instruments into 3 bundles, and each of us took a share on our backs. The clothes and ropes were tied into one bundle and tossed over the edge. We began our descent with the aid of a rope wound around a large rock of lava at the top. As we slid into the darkness, I realized that there were many natural footholds sticking out from the wall, which would help us in our downward climb. While I was concerned for our safety on the way down, my uncle was busy explaining to me the different layers of earth. Soon we had reached a rock ledge. Hans pulled on one end of the rope. It unwound from the rock above and fell to his feet. We sat down to rest for a while on the ledge, then continued. We climbed downward for 3 more hours. The bottom was not yet in sight, but a glance upward confirmed that the mouth of the crater was getting smaller and smaller as we got further and further away. We had been climbing about 10.5 hours and had gone about 5,600 feet, or a mile, into the earth, when a voice broke the silence. "Halt!" cried Hans from the lead position. "We have reached the end of our journey," my uncle said. "What? The interior of the earth already?" I asked. "No, you stupid fellow," he snapped, "but we have reached the bottom of the well." "And we can go no farther?" I asked, hopefully, looking forward to the upward climb. "I can see a tunnel to the right," my uncle answered, dashing my hopes of leaving. "We will look at that tomorrow. Right now, let us eat and get whatever sleep we can." Stretching out on beds of ropes and clothes, we did as he said. At 8 o'clock the next morning, a faint kind of dawn awoke us. Light coming from the mouth of the crater sparkled from the prisms of lava on the crater wall, enabling us to see around us. "Well, Harry," my uncle said, "did you ever pass a more comfortable night?" "It is quiet here," I replied, "but there is something terrible in this calm. I'm still not sure we're doing the right thing." "How can you be afraid when we really haven't gone 1 inch into the bowels of the earth yet?" "What do you mean?" I asked, astonished. "Look at the barometer," he said. "You will see that we have just about reached sea level. Remember, we climbed up to enter the crater, and now we have gone just about as far down as we first climbed." I checked the barometer, and he was indeed correct. We had just reached sea level. My uncle took a small notebook from his pocket and began to write the first of many notes he would keep. Monday, July 1st, 8:17 a.m. Barometer, 29. Temperature, 43 Fahrenheit. Direction, east-southeast. The last observation referred to the direction of the tunnel we were to follow, farther into the earth. "Now, Harry, we are about to take our first steps into the bowels of the earth," my uncle said. "Bowels never before visited by man since the creation of the world." With that, my uncle and Hans connected their batteries to the Ruhmkorff coils hanging around their necks, and their lanterns immediately bathed the dark, gloomy tunnel in light. "Forward!" cried my uncle, and we entered the tunnel. Hans first, then my uncle, and I third. As I entered, I glanced up for a glimpse of light that was the Iceland sky. Little did I know then that I was never to see that sky again. The great difficulty of our journey now really began. The way down was steeply inclined like a huge ramp. We were lucky that there were cracks and breaks in the rock and rocky soil that allowed us some footholds. Even though our equipment was heavy and the slope was steep, we moved rather easily, though slowly. Many magnificent shades of lava, from reds to browns to yellows, lined the tunnel. Crystals of quartz sparkled from the walls in our lights. To my surprise, we found no great increase in the heat as we moved, or rather slid slowly downward. 2 hours after we entered the tunnel, the thermometer showed only 54 Fahrenheit, an increase of only 9 degrees. About 8 o'clock that evening, my uncle called a halt. The lamps were hung on the rock walls to provide light. We were in a large cavern. It was indeed beautiful, and I marveled at the beauty of the surroundings, and the fact that there was plenty of air to breathe, even at that depth. We ate our dinner eagerly, but a feeling of uneasiness struck us all. We are halfway through our water supply, and we have not yet seen any springs of water, I said to my uncle, and we have barely enough to last us 5 days. Be easy about that subject, Harry, and don't worry, my uncle said with a laugh. We will find plenty of water, in fact, more than we can use. But when? When we get through this crust of lava, you cannot expect the water to force itself through these solid rock walls. If we keep moving horizontally, straight ahead rather than vertically, straight down, we may never get through the crust, I said. What makes you think we are not going vertically? My uncle asked, showing some surprise at my question. If we had been going straight down, far below sea level, the temperature would be up considerably, I said. But it is not. It is only up 15 degrees. So I must conclude that we are not going far vertically. In fact, I would judge that we have gone no deeper than 1,125 feet. The professor laughed. Harry, my boy, he said, would it surprise you to learn that according to my calculations, we are at this moment at least 10,000 feet below sea level? I was shocked. How can that be? Temperature should then be 81 degrees. The professor showed me his calculations and drawings. He was correct. So all the accepted scientific theories about the Earth getting hotter as the person went deeper were indeed wrong, as wrong could be. End of chapter 3.